Hello and welcome to Thursdays with Annette. I'm in the kitchen making a great recipe for you today, so stay tuned, sit back, relax and enjoy the show. So what am I going to make today? Well, I'm delving into book 6, which is the big book, which has the masterclass in it as well. So it's also recipes as well as a weight loss support as well. So what are we doing? Well, we're going into seafood and we're making this recipe. It's the garlic green pepper prawns. It is divine. I love it. But if you're already going, boo in it, I don't like prawns, well, the variation is fish. You can do it with chicken or rump, and I'll tell you about them later. So don't worry if you're not a prawn person. But before we get into it, let's talk about last week's show, which was the sticky lemon loaf. Yum! We had 3 fantastic little winners here, and that's Lisa Murphy, Kate Hull, and Jane Irwin. All won a person's own copy of book 3. And you might be a winner this week because it's book 6. Okay, so what do we need for garlic green pepper prawns? It is fabulous. It's so easy to make, and I just love using ingredients that I have in the pantry most of the time, which is fantastic, and in the fridge. Now with the prawns, let me show you what I buy, just because I think it's easier to know. And because we love prawns, so we buy the big bag of the raw prawns in Woolies. And it's peeled and deveined. So I love that because it makes cooking very easy with the prawns. So, and we just get it, they do, when you weigh it, don't weigh, so for this recipe you need 400 grams, but you need to take more out because when they're defrosted, they actually weigh less than when they're frozen. I know. So let me just give you this billy to put back in the freezer, and that's the prawns we're going to use. So we've got them here, and I will show you how to fan them out in a minute. So we've got 400 grams of prawns. Now, if you wanted to change that, let's just check because I want to tell you. So if you wanted to replace the prawns, you would use 4 by 125 grams of boneless fish fillets. You would use the skinless chicken breast or the rump steak, remember, 400 grams. So just remember to follow that if you wanted to change the variation. But I love it with the prawns. Okay, 400 grams of prawns. We're also going to do 1/4 cup of shallots sliced. We've got a cup of fresh tomatoes. We've got garlic. Now you can use fresh garlic. I mean, it's always better in a way really, but I'm just a lazy cook, as you know. So we want 2 teaspoons of crushed garlic, whether you use this or fresh, up to you. We're also going to use the green peppercorns, and they are just fantastic in this dish. They really make it go zingy, and you normally can get it in the jar can, but today we've got it in the jar. So either one is perfectly fine. So you want 2 teaspoons. And they really are fabulous. You'll use them a lot once you've tried them, I guarantee it. You also want a tablespoon of tomato paste. We've got 1/4 cup of dry white wine in here. And I will explain to you how to use, if you don't want to use wine, what you'll do in a minute. But that really gives depth to the flavour. We've also got 2 tablespoons of Floralite margarine. I've got a cup, not a can, but a cup of evaporated milk with 2 tablespoons of corn flour, and I've got my Neoflam spray that we like. It's the rice bran spray, which works really well with very good quality pans, which I'm using today. I'll just put that over there. And I've done the tomato paste, yep. So, all right, so let's start the recipe. Now, what I want to do first is I'm just going to do the shallots and get that over with, because basically that's the shallots and the tomato, all we've got to do. And then I'll show you how to do the prawns. Okay, so we want 1/4 cup. So here's my little measure cup. And just thinly slice. And if you don't have shallots, you could always use red onion, would be nice, diced in it as well. So 1/4 cup. Go up and use those green bits because they're just as tasty. And we want 1/4 cup. Thanks for joining me today. I love cooking for you on Thursdays. And I think, you know, with being in lockdown, I think it's really sometimes really a good time to maybe develop your cooking skills a little bit more while you're at home. And better to be using healthy recipes because you don't want to be packing on the weight in lockdown either, do we? All right, so shallots are done. Put that over there. Now we're going to do tomatoes, and we want a cup. Take out that little bit. the core I should call it, not the little bit. And we're just going to slice it and dice it. That's right. So we want a cup, so I've got another cup here to measure it with. And I hope everyone's doing well in lockdown. I know, you know, it's just seems to be taking forever, but I think we're hopefully on the home run soon. I know I'm desperate to see my family in Sydney and my gorgeous daughter and her my grandbabies. Thank goodness for FaceTime. That's all I can say, people. Gosh. Actually, I wonder if that's enough. Let's have a look. Maybe not. So it's a cup of fresh tomato. Oh, we know we do need a little bit more. It's such an easy recipe because basically all I've got to do is chop up the tomato and the shallots, and then I'm going to prep up the prawns, and I'll show you how to do that. You don't have to do it, to be honest. You could just put them in as they are now, and it would be perfectly fine. So just bear that in mind. All right, so actually I don't need to worry about that. Let's talk about prawns. Okay, so let's look at how you make them fizzy fabulous. Okay, so I've done most of them ahead, but I'll just show you how to fan them out. Now, in the recipe, I actually say at the top, and it says, note, to butterfly the prawns, this makes the prawn more tender. That's what it's about. Use a sharp knife and run the blade down the back of the prawns, being careful not to cut all the way through. Scrape out if there's any vein in there, and rinse prawns afterwards if you need to. All right, so what that is I've got my prawn, and I'm going to get my sharp knife, my nail flame knife, and I'm going to go in through the back and just cut it down. I don't go all the way through. Then it'll open it up. See, it's like a little butterfly. So let's do another few more. So as I said, you're cutting it down here, and it will automatically open up when you cook. Okay. Now, as I said, these are deveined, so there's nothing in there, which is a bit fabulous. But if you haven't got that, then make sure you clean out, like by scraping out any of the, what do we call it, vein, poo? I don't know. Everyone has a different name for it. But there you go. See, just straight down. I think I've got that right. And boom. All right, so let's clear this away and let's start cooking. I'll just wash my hands. Oh my gosh, this is such a fabulous recipe. I'm so excited to cook it for you today. All right, so let's heat up the pan. And we're going to spray with the cooking spray. And what we're going to do first is we're going to cook the prawns off for a bit. Be a bit generous. I've got some tongs here as well, just in case I need to turn the prawns a bit. But now let's heat the pan up for a little bit, so when the prawns go in, it's going to really sizzle because we want them to seal. All right, so then we're going to, let me just move these out of the way. All right, so now slowly add your prawns. Don't just throw the whole lot in. And if you have defrosted them, you might want to get your paper towel and dry them with that. And that's what I do also with frozen fish, because a lot of water stays in them when they're defrosted from being frozen. And you don't want that wet in your pan. Can you hear my sizzle? Here we go. Beautiful sizzle. And what I love about prawns is you can actually watch them get the colour, because they're so like just grey, and then all of a sudden you start seeing the beautiful orange coming alive. All right. So if you weren't using prawns, you would have diced your chicken or your steak and your fish, and then you would just cook them off, just brown them pretty well, and then continue on as you would in the recipe. And I love doing the variations because, you know, as I said, not everyone loves prawns, not everyone loves chicken, for example, and this way you can make this different ways. And I love making it with the different variations because people think they're having something different for dinner, but I'm just repeating that recipe over and over, and that works for me. All right. Oh, see how the orange comes alive with the prawns? Fantastic. All right, so we're just going to add in now the garlic, and we want 2 teaspoons. Just get that measure right. 1, 2. And as I said, you can always use fresh. Now I've also got my 2 teaspoons of the peppercorns, which are, I think, a little bit fabulous. And they're just little balls of gorgeousness in there. So you want 2 teaspoons. And let's just toss them in. Now look, I know a lot of people have been, loving my pans. And we've got a special deal going right now, which I really want to share with you. So stay tuned for that, because I want to tell you about that for sure. Now what we're going to add in next is the wine. Now let me tell you, when I pour that in, and that steam that comes out of it is the alcohol going out. So then you're left with the deep flavour that the wine brings, okay? So if you want to disregard that and not have any wine in it, then just replace it with a 1/4 cup of water and put half a teaspoon of stock powder in it. And that will work fine. Okay, so we're going to put the margarine in. Now I'm going to turn my heat down a little bit here, because I don't want to burn the margarine, but that goes in. And we want a tablespoon of tomato paste. Remember, I'm always using the 15 ml tablespoon. There we go. And that's there. And we're just going to combine that. Oh, already I am very, very excited about this dish, because it is so delicious. And it's kind of a bit impressive, great for dinner parties. And what I would like to say to you as well is that you can serve this with vegetables or salad. I like it with rice, but great dinner party dish. Or just if you want to spoil yourselves, for sure. Now add in the tomatoes. See how hard this is? In go the shallots. Basically, it's my technique, isn't it? Chop it all up, chuck it in the pot and cook it. Oh, yes. And the tomatoes just bounce off the colours of the prawns too. All right, I might turn that back up just a little bit more now. Oh my gosh. So now, pans, lids. This is for the wok, okay? If you wanted to get lids to go with your neoflam pans, we've got a deal, that's right. And it's fantastic on right now. It's half price lids. All you have to do is when you go in to purchase, you just put in lids 50 off in the coupon. That's easy. I'm sorry, Bill's talking to me. What? The coupon box, is it? Yes, coupon box. Lids 50 off. Boom. All right. Now, what have we got left to do? Basically, we are looking a bit fabulous. So we're going to now put in 1 cup. 1 cup of evaporated light milk and 2 tablespoons of corn flour. Just get that all in. Let me get my scraper. Turn that down. Now, you can actually, freeze the evaporated milk. If you really wanted to not use, waste that rest of it. But go to Cooking for 1 or 2 and you'll find that there's recipes there that don't use a lot of evaporated milk in it if you wanted to use up the rest of your can. There we go. Oh, how beautiful does this look? And the green and the shallots. Let me hold it up so you can see. Now, all we have to do is get this to boil and I will serve it up. So that's how easy this recipe is. It's fabulous. So let me just see if there's any more milk there. Yep. Now, the good news is the fat count. 1 gram of fat per person. You're welcome. And the fish is 1.5, the chicken is 3.1, and the rump is 6.8. So it's great for anyone wanting to watch those fat count and calories and that. Just beautiful. And it's just banging with flavour. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to serve it up. I have some rice here in my bowl. Look at this. This is enough for 4. And the sauce is just fabulous. Really, it is very, very nice with chicken. I must say, we do chicken a bit as well. There goes one more prawn just because we can. And boom, there we go. Garlic pepper prawns out of book 6. I mean, who knew weight loss could be so deliciously healthy? I mean, it is just a banging dish, that's for sure. Now, just remember the peppercorns, if you don't see the jar, the can, the jar is fine. So let me just put that there for the minute because I know you want to win a book. That's right, book 6 is fabulous. So what you've got to do is you've got to like, share, and then in the comments, you've just got to do hashtag, write in hashtag Symply Too Good. If you write that in as it is there, I will go in and pick 3 fantastic winners for next week's show and make the announcement. I hope it's your name that I say out. So there you go. Now, next week's show, I am very excited because I'm focusing on the kids next week because it's school holidays. And I think parents deserve a break if you can. So stick them in front of the Facebook page and let them watch the show. And it'll be fantastic because we're really focusing on kids next week. And what are we making? We're making choc chip cookies. Get the ingredients, let them cook it with me, and that'll be fantastic. So remember, if you want any more tips or recipes, you want to check out the half-price lids, just go to simplytoogood.com.au. Thanks again for joining me today, and I hope you stay safe and fabulous. See you next Thursday. Bye.